Another day, another Doctor Who article by The Sun, and I have been a couple of other news items that I want to cover, but I think I'll save that for tomorrow. For now, let's talk about this latest in a long line of speculation with regards to Doctor Who's future, and once again, let's see if it has any real basis towards it, or if it's just a bunch of hot air. And if you're wondering what I've been doing the last few days, well, my PC's hard drive corrupted, so I'm currently running the show off of my laptop currently. Hence why yesterday's video was a little bit more slapdash than I would normally do it, and hence why I was a bit flustered. I made a couple of mistakes in that video, for example saying that the 8 a.m. broadcast will be weird for kids going to school. Obviously, I realised after I'd recorded that, oh yeah, there's no school on Saturdays. That was just a brain fart on my end. Everything else I say in that video with respect to the 8 a.m. broadcast does hold true though. I do still think it's a bit of an odd decision that I'm not totally in favour of personally. If you are, that's great, and I'm really glad that it works for some people, but that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, let's get into this article. Last Doctor. Doctor Who set to cancel Christmas episode for the first time in 6 years as show faces being axed. Now immediately, this title is off to a bad start. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say that, I have my biases against The Sun, and that's true. I don't trust The Sun very much, to be honest. But immediately we know this is wrong, because between the years of, 2018 to 2022, there were no Christmas special. So this whole idea of the first time without a Christmas special in 6 years is not true. It's at best misleading, because they might be referring to festive episodes overall, but it's trying to paint a picture that us not having a Christmas special would be more abnormal than it is. Obviously, if we have no festive special, that will be an irregularity, but it's disingenuous to say that Christmas episodes have been a thing for 6 years when they just haven't. Doctor Who's Christmas special 2025 is set to be scrapped as the show's future hangs in the balance. It's looking very likely the classic sci-fi show's festive episode won't air for the first time in 6 years after a plunge in ratings. Again, obviously, The Sun is going to have its own biases here, and obviously this follows on from their reporting in the previous article. The BBC finally confirmed Doctor Who will return in April with actor NCUTI Gatwa as the titular Time Lord, but he is already believed to have filmed his regeneration exit scene, and crew fear the BBC will then axe the show after 62 years. A source told The Sun, there is a lot of uncertainty around Doctor Who at the moment, and it looks like the beloved Christmas special won't be happening. It seems the ep just wasn't commissioned. People had no doubt be hoping that the next series would be in the bag, and that would include the festive edition. But things are very much hanging in the balance, and bosses don't even know if NCUTI will be returning, let alone if there's time to bash out a new episode for Christmas Day. So this is the thing I'm confused about. If we are to believe The Sun's previous reporting that NCUTI Gatwa is leaving after season 2, why on earth would they then film a Christmas special? If they're going to film a regeneration scene that is his final scene, why would you then film a subsequent Christmas special? The only argument I could see is that maybe they'll do what they did with the 12th Doctor, where it's kind of a prolonged regeneration process, which I guess they could do. But it seems weird to me to call Gatwa back just for one episode if what they're saying about Gatwa leaving and the show being cancelled is true, which I don't think it entirely is. Again, I have heard things about Gatwa leaving independently of The Sun and, independently of this reporting. However, I do think that a lot of this is either A, guesswork from The Sun, or B, sources that don't fully know the whole picture. That's just my opinion on it. With that having been said, though, in order for there to actually be a Christmas special, one would assume it would have to start filming relatively soon, as I don't think it was filmed as part of the season 2 filming block. So, assumedly they would have to film that soon, but I assume that would be easier to film than season 3 would be. For example, it's a lot cheaper. So I could see, let's say if Disney don't pick it up, which I do think is increasingly becoming more of a possibility, that they could go, right, well, we'll give you the money for this year's Christmas special, because historically, as we know, the Christmas specials are always a safe bet to get around 6 or 7 million viewers each time. So, yeah. And obviously at best, in the heyday, they get 10, 11, 12 million. But that's not where we're at right now. Typically filmed a year in advance, the Christmas special was expected to be locked into the schedule. But with the current 26 episode deal, which covered the 60th, the 2024 festive episodes, 2 8-episode series, and 5 spin-off episodes, Now nearing its end, the show is hanging in the thread. A source told The Sun, Ncuti doesn't want to be tied to the series beyond this and plans to relocate to Los Angeles with several Hollywood projects standing by for him. That is something that they said previously, and that is something I can somewhat believe. His team also see a lot of the backlash from the series and don't want the perception of him being the Doctor to get in the way of his future work. And then the rest of it, I think, is just the same stuff from the previous article. Yeah, I believe it is. It would be the first time since 2017 that the TARDIS won't grace TV screens on December 25th. This is just blatantly wrong. This is just blatantly incorrect. Doctor Who didn't have a Christmas special between the years 2018 and 2022. This is why I find it so difficult to take anything that The Sun says seriously, not only just in general, but also specifically with regards to Doctor Who. One quick Google search would have told you that there wasn't any Christmas special between 2018 and 2022. They only came back with Russell in 2023 with Church on Ruby Road, as it was his express request that they bring back the Christmas slot. So this whole idea is wrong, leaving fans wondering whether the Doctor's latest regeneration might come with a painful cliffhanger. So I'm guessing that's where the last Doctor kind of bit of the headline comes in, the idea that essentially the regeneration will be filmed but with no successor in mind immediately. Which admittedly would be somewhat concerning, but it's also worth bearing in mind that the same thing did happen with the 13th Doctor's regeneration. They filmed that not knowing who exactly was going to take over before Russell and David Tennant stepped in. So I don't necessarily think them not having an immediate plan for who would take over is a definitive sign that the show will end there. I frankly just think it's too profitable for the BBC to can, with all of its merchandise and stuff like that, and there isn't really anything else that the BBC has that can match that. So even if Disney pull out, which is the other part of this equation, which again, as I've said before, I think is somewhat likely, I don't see the BBC canning it, at least long term. I could see something similar to what happened in 2016 happening, or 2019, where we have a year gap whilst they figure out where to go from here, but I don't see a long-term hiatus as really something that's on the cards, at least at the current moment. To be honest, I think if you want to talk about Christmas specials, it's more likely that rather than being cancelled entirely, one could imagine a scenario in which Doctor Who has yearly specials, in somewhat in a similar way to what we saw in 2009, 2022, and 2023, where rather than it being a full series, it airs at like big moments of the year. So let's say Christmas, and then let's say maybe New Year's, and then one other one. I could see that being more likely than outright cancellation. Again, I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm saying I think even that's more likely than just Doctor Who completely stopping. But yeah, with the idea of the Christmas episode, it is a good point that I don't believe they've filmed it yet, but I don't think it's impossible that they could at least film a Christmas special between now and then. It's worth considering that I believe the 50th filmed in the summer and then went out in November. So stranger things have happened. The idea of there not being a Christmas special this year yet, whilst not ideal, does not definitively rule out the idea of there not being one this year. I do really hope there is, as the Christmas special is one of my favourite Doctor Who traditions that I was glad to see brought back. But we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know in the comments below what you think. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.